again, and today we are going to be reacting to the creepy Mr. Nightmare. Apparently we call it the creepiest thing ever, but it's not creepy, but it's not even creepy at all.
So we're going to be reacting to one of his videos called 3 Creepy True Horror Stories That Happened on Christmas. Now, let me just tell you, do not be scared of these stories because they are not real. They are so fake. But only a few of them are real, but those are the ones that aren't scary.
Let's start. It always says true, but that's trying to scare people.
3 fake Christmas horror stories.
But this guy who makes this something smart.
Story 1, Arthur Maxwell. Story 2, Anonymous.
Why is it only
Story
Anonymous?
3, Ranger G.
Okay, let's listen to the words really carefully.
Story 1.
I'm
not gonna talk anymore.
Family during the holidays was the worst weekend of my life. They lived in a different state than my ex Kaylee and I. We were on Long Island in New York.
God.
They were all the way up in Vermont. Our relationship was still kind of new, but she seemed to think it was serious enough for her parents to invite the two of us up there for Christmas. Kaylee had a really small family.
Wait, guys, this is funny. Kaylee's actually one of my school bullies in school.
The two of us, her brother, and her parents. Pulling up to the house was a pleasant surprise. The house was beautiful, and it stood on a huge, well-kept property secluded from any other houses.
It's already getting suspicious.
As Kaylee and I got out of my truck, our parents came out to the porch to greet us. First impressions, they seemed friendly and weird. An unexplainable type of friendly.
Yeah, pretty
The
suspicious.
father didn't smile, but he shook my hand, patted me on the back, and said it was great to meet me. The mother hugged me, showing a lot more emotion, but something about her face was a bit off-putting. She had a really wide smile that seemed a bit exaggerated. The house was as
Okay, so guys, I think the smile they're talking about is the kind of smile when you take your fingers and stretch out your mouth, be like, I'm so happy.
beautiful inside as it was outside. It had a wooden lodge type atmosphere to it. A little while later, I met Katie's brother Paul, who got home from work.
I hate the name Paul.
He was a really socially
It's
awkward
like a
dude.
really weird name.
He had a bowl cut and had a whole tattoo sleeve running up his arm. We had dinner, which was awkward at certain moments, but other than that, it was kind of normal. After dinner, we watched a Christmas movie in the living room. I tried not to make eye contact, but I could tell Paul kept looking at me for extended periods of time, on a few different occasions. At one point, I finally looked back at him, and we locked eyes for like 3 seconds before he turned back to the TV.
Seriously?
He was giving me the most
What the
judgmental
flip?
stare I'd ever seen, and it made me only more uncomfortable. At the end of the night, Kaylee and I were in the guest room, which had an attached bathroom.
Oh my
Kaylee
gosh,
was in
the
the
bathroom
bathroom.
is so creepy.
She left
I
her
would
phone
keep
on the
all closet
nightstand.
doors closed.
Yeah.
I saw she got a text from her mom, and for some reason, feeling a bit snoopy, I got up to read it. It was not at all what I was expecting, and it changed the whole night completely.
What does it say? What's it say?
Briefly on the screen, it said, "Text from mom. Do you think he suspects anything yet?" But the message quickly switched to new.
Oh my gosh, I know what you mean.
Our message notifications set to hide once the phone locks. I wanted to read what was said before that, but her phone had a password, unfortunately. I could actually feel my heart pumping now. Kaylee came back into the room. I kind of gave her the cold shoulder because my mind was racing. She seemed to notice. She was texting on her phone for a bit before turning out the lamp and going to sleep. I couldn't sleep though. I was rolling around for hours wondering what that text meant.
It's green.
Dude,
About
that
me.
pillow looks like it has
What the hell
eyes
was
and
up
a
with my
mouth
brother?
and a big fat nose. It's so creepy.
It was exactly 2 in the morning when I heard Kaylee get out of bed, but she was doing so very quietly. Normally
This
I'd find this to be a
weird.
kind gesture, but under the
She's
circumstances,
They
I
don't
was finding it
explain.
suspicious now.
Why is it green?
I
A
didn't
jump scare
move.
maybe?
I pretended to still be asleep.
Green alien. Green,
I heard
the
her
color
come to my
green
side of the bed
equals
and stand there
alien.
for a
It's
few
so
minutes.
obvious.
Then leaving the room and walking downstairs. Then I heard someone else walking downstairs, and then another
Suspicious.
person. Something was going on. I went over to the top of the stairs to listen to what was going on downstairs. There was a bunch of talking, but in very low voices. I walked down a few stairs quietly. The talking was coming from the dining room by the stairs. It sounded like they were planning something. I heard Kaylee say something like, "When I go back up, you stand by the door."
Why?
Then I heard her brother say something. But what was going on was really starting to hit me in the face, or at least what I think was going on. I went back to the room to grab my stuff and leave. As I
Yup,
was grabbing the keys, I noticed something in the corner of the room.
I know what it is.
I turned the lamp
The
on,
brother.
which exposed Kaylee's dad sitting in a chair in the corner of the room, blank expression on his face behind his glasses,
Oh,
staring at me.
creepy.
I screamed at least 4 times, "You're all crazy," as I ran to my car. I put the car in drive, practically before the car was even fully
Yeah,
on,
but-
and floored it out of that long driveway back to the road. I didn't stop once except for gas. And at that gas stop, I checked my phone and saw Kaylee texted me saying, "What the fuck happened?" I didn't respond.
Oh my
Not
God.
until later that night when I got home. I said, "I don't know what you and your sick family were planning on doing to me. I don't want to know. Don't ever contact me or come near me again, and I won't report this." I said this only because I knew there was no proof at all of what happened, or what might have been about to happen. She never replied.
Maybe
Good.
Maybe it wasn't the girl's fault. Maybe it wasn't the girl's fault. Maybe it was just the dad and the brother.
It was Christmas Eve night, 1 in the
Like,
morning.
the family knows that.
I was in our den watching TV because I always like to stay up extra late on Christmas Eve. To make things more festive and cozy feeling, it was during a snowstorm.
Story
I left the
2.
window open and the backyard light on just so I could also have the view of the snow in the backyard. I was focused on the TV at the moment, but through my peripheral vision, I thought I could briefly see something in the backyard.
Why is the
I
light
turned to the
flashing?
window,
What?
but besides the falling snow, there was nothing going on out there. Still, I got up and went to the window just to be sure. Nothing. I sat back down on the couch.
Wait, guys, pause. What the heck? That looks like Abigail from that horror movie.
Right there?
No, like, not there. There's some picture of a weird woman looking.
Oh, yeah. On the little cabinet holding on the statues, there's one statue with like a girl just standing there in like what looks to be a clock or something. It looks like Abigail. That's so freaking creepy.
Remember from the Jessie show on Halloween? Abigail?
What?
Abigail? Guys, have you seen this before? Have you seen Abigail from the Jessie movie who got drunk and arrested? And she lost all her fans. Okay, forget it. Let's just go on.
But now I was constantly checking the window to see if anything was outside. About 10 minutes later, I calmed down and forgot about it and reverted my full
That's what
attention
I would
back to
do.
the movie. Then I heard, loud and clear, the backyard gate slam shut. Now I almost knew someone was back there. I slipped on my shoes and a jacket and went out to the backyard to check it out.
Like this before.
There were boot marks in the snow, leading from one gate across
But
the
dude-
yard to the other gate.
Guys, guess what? A vlogger on the internet, they were going to a resort on a snow day, just exactly like this. And literally, then the dad pointed out something terrifying. There, from the forest, there was footsteps leading to the resort.
Oh crap!
That was not meant for the video. That was not meant. And then the YouTuber was like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck is that? That's actually terrifying." Yeah. That was like there was footsteps leading from the forest to the resort, and it was like nighttime or something.
Okay, but come on, this is a reaction video. Let's just finish it already.
I was not feeling brave enough to follow them, so I went back inside. As I was taking off my boots and jacket,
Flip.
I saw a track of wet, muddy snow on the den carpet,
Oh.
leading from the office to the hallway.
Oh
my.
my!
I thought that was the
That was also the way
table.
to my parents' room.
I
First,
thought that
I had to
hi-
go to the office to see how
I
they
thought
broke
that
in.
those
So
were
I followed
his
the boot marks to the
footprints.
office without turning on any lights to make my presence known. I was expecting to see one of the windows busted open, but everything was intact. Then I realized the boot marks didn't start in this room. They ended in this room.
I get it. The guy's in the room with him.
I slowly lifted my head up to the garage door
I
in the
don't
corner
see
of
it.
the
The
room.
screen.
It was open, and right under the doorway, there was someone in a winter coat, jeans, and boots, squatting down as if trying to hide, back facing me, but his head turned to look at me. I stood there with my mouth open in horror for a few seconds before I ran forward to my parents' room, screaming the whole way there. I got my dad to come out as quick
Okay, good. I thought he was an adult and he lived alone.
Yeah, I thought that.
This is probably like some 13-year-old kid.
quickly as possible, and on our way to the garage together, we heard the actual garage door opening. By the time we got there, the intruder was gone. Realistically, we could have followed his boot marks, but who knows how far he'd gotten by that point. We found out he broke in through an unlocked living room window. Just goes to show if somebody has intentions of breaking into your house, they'll find a way, which is why you should always lock all your doors and windows.
Okay. Guys, look. This video, that story teaches you a life lesson.
Yeah.
Lock all your doors when you go to sleep.
Everyone.
Okay, guys. Comment down below if anything like this has ever happened to you.
And what was I gonna say? Don't lie and make it over exaggerating, okay?
Yeah, don't lie and just say it happened to you. And
Yeah.
like, if you actually did this, if this actually happened to you in a similar way, you should have called the cops or something like that. Let's go. Dun-dun. Story 3. Jinx.
Go, Jinx.
Darn it. We're under a roof. We're under a roof. Doesn't work if you're under a
I'm the
roof.
oldest of 4.
Yeah.
During the event of the
No.
story, I was 16, my younger sister was 11, and my 2 younger brothers were 8 and 7. My parents
like
and their
this
group
doll
of friends
song.
were a part of a club that was basically for rich, snobby
Doll
people.
song. It's
The club always hosted a Christmas party one night in December each year at a big
It's the
fancy
Nutcracker.
firehouse.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, for all the younger kids, like my siblings, somebody would always dress up as Santa Claus and hand out the presents that were left in a sack by a chair, which had a red blanket over it. This year, my dad's best friend Michael was dressing up as Santa. He was sitting at the same table as us, so when the time came for him to leave and get changed into the Santa
think I know
suit,
it's about.
I saw him get up and walk out the door. There were like 20 young kids there, they never noticed. Everyone was having a good time, chatting and whatnot, kids playing on the floor in the center of the room, when the door to the firehouse opened and bells were heard jingling. All the kids jumped up yelling Santa, and in came Michael in a surprisingly unimpressive Santa costume. It honestly looked like the cheapest
know
thing he
what
could
this
find
is
in
about.
It's
Park
a
City.
murderer.
A serious
do you
downgrade
know?
from last year. The hat
It's
and
so
beard were all
obvious.
right,
It's a
but the
murderer
costume just seemed
who
cheap.
made his own like
Not the
dog.
usual
don't spoil it,
costume
don't
the club
spoil it.
supplied. He chuckled and did his best
I'm not
Santa
sure if
impression.
that's true.
I had
Like,
to
I
say,
haven't
he was
watched this
doing
video
a really
before.
good job of changing his voice, though. I saw a few of my parents' friends whispering to each other. Michael grabbed the bag of gifts and said in his best Santa voice he'd be right back with the presents. He sounded so different, though. He walked out the door with a bag of gifts. That's when my dad and a couple other guys ran after him yelling, "Hey!" I still didn't know what was going on. Not until my mom told me that wasn't Michael. I wanted to feel important, I guess, so I ran outside to the parking lot as well, where I found my dad and 2 other guys standing there, looking around dumbfounded. The man dressed as Santa was gone. The real thing they were concerned about was where Michael was. Michael's car was also missing.
I
I asked them if they were sure that
know what happened.
What?
I know what happened.
What happened?
Do you know what happened?
No. Tell me.
Tell you.
There's like a minute left of this video.
But the problem, no, actually like 2 minutes. But yeah, but I know what happened.
What?
I'll whisper it to you so I don't spoil it.
Freak.
And he took
Positive,
that
though.
thing called the bag
We tried
of presents,
calling
but
Michael,
he
but
was
his phone
in
was
there.
we tried his house phone after a while too.
Maybe.
It
I
went to
don't think so.
voicemail. We had to send a search party, but we couldn't find him anywhere though. Eventually my dad and I returned to the firehouse to pick up my mom and siblings. Just about everyone went home by then. I waited outside. I heard a scream for help in the distance. It came from the woods, deep in the woods.
I knew
I ran to
it!
the tree line to scream back Michael's name. He yelled back help again. It was him. I was too excited to go back for my dad, so I ran into the woods following his screams for help. And I found
You don't
him
go into
tied
the
to a
woods
tree
alone.
in a bloody...
Okay, guys. Look. Never go into the woods alone. No matter what you do. Even if the last... Like, that's the last thing you want to do in your life.
Yeah, like the last thing, because you want to like die and get buried there and stuff like that. But like, never go in there.
Like, never go into the woods.
Yeah. That's...
mess. Blood was dripping from his forehead down to his face.
Frick.
He looked like he'd been beaten by a blunt
Shut.
object. I cut the little rope with my key, and he struggled to his feet. I walked him back to the parking lot, and he screamed when he saw his car was gone. When Michael left the building planning to get
I know what happened. It's so obvious. The kidnapper.
Don't spoil it.
Okay.
You can say what you thought it
Santa
was at the
costume.
end.
he was jumped by 3 guys wearing masks, one of whom struck him in the forehead with something metal repeatedly until he was knocked out. Next thing he knew, he woke up tied to a tree in the woods. It's sick to think that 3 or 4 men could have set up a plan like this, involving harming somebody just to steal a bunch of gifts from children, some of them pretty expensive. And to add insult to injury, they stole Michael's $50,000 car. I
What
felt
the
terrible
frick?
for him, and I still do.
I thought it was like some cheap,
Truck.
like yeah, it was like some
pickup
cheap
truck.
truck. Yeah, like a cheap old pickup truck. Cost like $20,000.
Yeah.
Like $50,000.
It's not the kind of story that he can just bring up for fun. It's still a painful story to tell, even for me.
Okay, so
Thank you guys so much for.
First, what did you think What did you think happened?
I thought that kidnapper took the van and drove off, as I knew that because the car was gone. I think that car was like new or something, and like I knew that guy kidnapped him, Mike. Oh. So you guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and comment down below if anything similar has happened to you.
Wait, don't end the video yet. Also, guys, comment down below in the comment section below. What did I just say? If you want us to do another reaction video from Mr. Nightmare.
See you guys next time, which is like
Bye!
in 10 minutes. Bye!
Yeah, probably 10 minutes. Bye!